out, and not a single peek comes out of it. Look at this. This is a stalemate if I've ever seen one. And in the pistol round, out of all the rounds, it's confirmation that Mary's there, top fragger from the last time these two went head-to-head on Haven, but it doesn't really mean anything else. This is the slowest start to a pistol I think I've ever seen in Game Changers history. Looks like they're gearing up for a C as all of the women in the spike do head in that direction. It's Glance to be able to be the one to collect them, but no one else has rotated yet. I think they're convinced it's a B hit.
No early picks for Kasse in terms of G2 walking in towards it. They have to try and execute into this. Toki gets absolutely caught by the fault line and luckily doesn't get punished for it. He's pushed up towards defender's spot. The plan being confirmed. And G2 have to set up for the retake. Luckily, Juliano's come away with the first. He's gone down. Toki holding. And the aggressive maneuver forward for Juliano has not worked out. Luckily, Petra, quick and close and personal, make that tread frag happen. Mary moves into the site, and G2 are now in full control of this. Tapping onto the defuse, creating pressure upon the peaks. But Kasse, they've got a couple of them. Freeze has to win this one. Oh, lovely shot off to Petra, but Mary gets onto the defuse. Lovely mechanics on display here for Kasse, but it's not going to be enough for the first round.
Oh, that's how you want a series like this to start. That is how you want. And then the second, that would have gone surely to OT. So we're talking about every round really mattering here.
It's a great way of putting it in terms of it really adds pressure to every single moment in a round like this where you can lose against the investment, the force in from Kasse. G2 want to try and keep this one clean. It's a full commitment of all of their resources really towards this A side at the moment. A little bit of a lurk coming in, but it's just lagging behind for a moment here on Kasse. The commitment's about to come up into Juliano. But Juliano has the guiding light to go around and pick up information. Now with that info, they've gathered that it's probably the attack incoming pretty imminently, so pain shells go out to try and slow it down. Mary's able to take the kill on Toki. The advantage is with G2's defense.
Seems like Kasse just wants to bait out a little bit that utility. They got the pain shells out of that one. And of course, they're able to do a little bit of damage. Not much, of course. And with the inferior weaponry we spoke about before, that's something they desperately need. A pick, a Spectre in the hand, something to be able to give them the advantage. Dry peeking like this won't do well, and I say that. 30 seconds left. Swings out, is able to get another.
Down A.
Well, the plants is a massive piece of impact here for Kasse, but now it's about sealing the deal. Now it's about taking the round. Juliano peeks wide out from heaven and gets tied up a little bit. Freeze is being forced out of her position and goes back into the site with Poetite. Lots of utility being used here for G2, but now they need to go. Now they need the kills, and Juliano goes flying over the top of the site and looks down into it, finds a couple, and that should be now the round confirmed. G2 retake. In the end, you know, they can see the plant, they lose the kill, but it doesn't really get out of hand. They keep 4 players up.
They're letting them get the plant, and then they're really using that teamwork and cohesion that we know them for to be able to have a really good retake. So I like that. And this patience, because I'm telling you what, Kasse is expecting defensive aggression here, Dinko, and it hasn't happened once yet. I wonder when all of this conditioning will change up.
G2 just taking their time, realizing aggression isn't quite required yet, especially with some of the weaker guns in play. You can't really win too many of these long-range fights with the Spectres, so just setting up some gimmicky setups, some traps being laid, but Mary needs to be careful. Goes and gets the orb. Got the Seekers online now, but here comes the fault line catching her. She'll be slow to get back to cover, but luckily will be in cover. MissLaia starts to move forward. Here comes the Seekers. Deployed very early on here for G2. Just trying to keep them back for now. 45-second mark.
Oh, it's a lot of early utility usage. Something like G2 wants to retake the ground. You're right, it's the inferior weaponry. Short range is the go-to. And look at this crossfire. It's dangerous. It's Mary. It's Juliano. It's a nice, beautiful bit of utility. Wow. And that
30 seconds
was
left.
Scripted perfectly.
But now they realize there's an opening now. Now there's a weakness within the site. So you're going to see that commitment up the ramp for Kasse to try and get in towards the site itself. But Juliano, she just keeps catching opponents looking the wrong way. And finally, Juliano gets a taste of her own medicine. Metzly comes around the backside with the double. Their plant should be coming in. And Poetite even gets away from the aftershock too. So good situation to be in at the moment for Kasse. Right there. Don't count out G2 in this retake. They have certainly got a chance at getting back into this one. Just biding their time. Flash at the ready. And here they come, swinging around the corner. Poetite and Metzly play this one to perfection together. But Toki's low, and Glance is being absolutely bombarded. Finally overwhelmed. Poetite just about getting through the round on 30 HP. And Kase will have their first round.
From Kase, and that is a round on the board for them, as would be expected with a third round, but it doesn't detract from, those tiny little mistakes that can cost rounds.
Well, G2, I think in a few casualties in the last round, but it was a bit of a bonus. This is going to be the tougher challenge from the get-go for Kase. Look at the information Metzly is getting right now on this push-up. Can't go any further with the tripwire set up towards C, so you have to really bide your time before you can move any further. And this utility setup is allowing G2 to leave that C site somewhat empty for the time being and gather information elsewhere. Blinding. Oh, Freezy to be careful. She gets out of that.
Oh, they've got an answer for everything, Dinko. You push garage, this happens. You push here, well, there's two of them. Nice little crossfire. Good trade from Toki. She wants to go again, get Juliano. But I tell you what, everywhere they're poking on the map, G2 seems to have an answer. It's about gun skill at this point, and we hate to bring it down so simply, but that's all it is. 30 seconds. This is what G2's little denial plan's about.
Good job from Juliano again. I'm loving this defensive setup right now. It's so proactive. They're taking so much control and just a living organism really moving out of those areas and coming back again. And it's just very difficult for Kase to find the gap in such limited time. You can invest that. Rolling Thunder at this point in the round. You better hope you can get the round win, but the spike goes down in the final dying seconds of this. And G2 down to 3 players. There is a shot that Kase pull this off now. Poetite looking towards heaven. Petra has not overextended just yet. They're grouping up together, waiting on Glance to come back with a pack.
Interesting that we saw a trademark in the pocket of Metzly. Something that could be very useful in that situation. Alas, it's not. Here comes out the utility. This is what we've been talking about, Dinko. They seem to have an answer for everything. They know the corners. It's predictable.
Wow. What?
Petra reads it like a book.
Come in and killed everybody. That's unreasonable. She's used the information of her teammates.
Yep, that's it. She knows there's going to be one graffiti, there's going to be one tuck right, one hell, one default. This is something that you can't let yourself fall into if you're a team like Kase, because G2, they're going to be...
For a few more losses there.
You want to play? Let's play.
Trying to bait out that grab ball there. Love that. See if they get a little bit of shoulder peek, a little bit of intel at the same time. You can see the trademark is being placed in what I consider to be the best position, especially if it's going to be an A hit here. So now I'm a little bit more trusting that Kase knows exactly what they want to do. Again, the weaponry isn't great, but if they can get a site, get a plant down, even possibly drop a couple of these weapons from the side of G2, that would be a little bit of a win, especially moving in to that 5th round. And it just seems like Mimi knows. She knows it's going to be an A hit. Look at those trapwires.
Metzly using the tour de force. We'll see if she can use it to great effect. Can't really go too much further forward. Do that trot wire set up again. No overextension here for G2, obviously having the right setup to deal with the weaker economy.
Cage trigger.
But it does concede the site, so you will see this plant again. But G2 have been so good at these retakes that you're going to still feel very comfortable about going in for the retake attempt, especially with the Rolling Thunder going in. The pinch shots for Juliano are good enough for the pick, but Poetite battles back, and with the Sheriff puts one between the eyes. Juliano is knocked out. And right now the tour de force still in play. It's still up. It's just biding its time, waiting for the time to strike. And Metzly gets that opportunity. Mimi goes down, and now the defuse finally being stuck. It's a little too far wide for Poetite, and the shot's not landing with the tour de force. No spam ability through the nebula, and G2 will pull the round off. They'll lose every single player, but Kase, with the guns they brought into that, they can be
ready to receive Kase here. Don't know exactly where that's set up, but another A hit, or maybe another A bait, considering where the spike is dropped down. And yeah, it's Juliano. Who else? Leading from the front. Swing out. Ooh. I thought that might have been a toe shot there, but Metzly gets away.
Yeah, it gets away, and that's a warning shot. Not only that, but it's information given over to Casse. And you can see, look at the ground they're taking back here, G2. They're pushing down C long already, and Glance gets sprayed down through the nebula. But the key to the talking point of the previous round is the fact that Casse do so much damage to the buy of G2. So look at their purchase coming into this round. You know, they've got half shields on the operator. You've got a Spectre in play that's now low on health, and a Bulldog. So it's not fantastic, and sometimes you need to play like this. But Mary's gone for the aggressive play down. Casse considering it and clearing out Mary's spot easily.
That's the caster curse, but this time from you, Dinko.
Yes, that's my fault this time.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Ooh! Petra, robbed in broad daylight. Not sure about that one, but she'll walk away. And looks like Casse now. They're a heavy team with no trademark. Trademark again over towards C. But don't worry, MissLaia is there. Yeah. I think with the weapon, especially with the operator, I mean, you look at Juliano, that's something that she's had to invest heavily in. We saw previous rounds where Casse were able to get the plant down. They invested a whopping amount of utility and weaponry into it. Expensive rounds in this first half that we're seeing. I don't think Georgiou want to add to that toll as well. And as we move forward into that 6th round, that's where the weaponry should come back. Both of these teams should show us their full force. But that being said, Glad, she wants to drop a weapon if she can. Sneaky, 9 HP. What can she get done? Almost nothing. And with that weapon, she'll see it dropped in the next round anyway.
Yeah, it's a tough one to stomach here for G2, but it's great to see. It's very early signs that Casse will be able to compete throughout this entire matchup, but I think it also plays into the fact that actually let it completely slip. Casse could tie things up pretty quickly here, Jess.
Oh, that's aggressive.
Oh, Julie.
Unnecessarily. Yeah.
Dead.
Wasn't sure that was the best angle she could have gone for there, considering Glance is usually the one that loves to hang around garage. She'll pick up the op, but she's not one that I know very well to be able to wield it, and she is going to have an absolute train of people riding at her in a singular moment.
Yeah, Prowler goes forward as well, so that gets that early information, gets out the shot, and now you can just smoke off the garage. There's no resistance here for G2. You just save again if you can. You know, if you can get that operator into the next round, that's actually a win, considering how badly the start of this round went. At this point, Mimi's just hanging around, seeing if she can inflict some damage. Finally gets an opportunity for one. It's traded immediately just with how many players are around C long. They're hanging around here, G2. They're still going for this one. The showstopper invested into for Toki, and she gets a double out of it. The rifle closed on the second, but Glance is just hanging around. Should get away very, very soon here. Not much you can do. Happy to save this one. At least you actually bid it out. An ultimate there you didn't really need to use if you're Casse, so I guess that's a bit of a win for G2.
I mean, I guess that just goes to reinforce the respect that you have to be able to give G2 Gozen, and something that you highlighted before that I really want to hang on here for the viewers is that there was a stat that came out in tactical FPS, not just Valorant specifically, but in tactical FPS, that it isn't going to affect them, and I don't think you can rely on that every single round, regardless of the statue you have in Game Changers.
Yeah, especially if you don't have ultimates like the Rolling Thunder online or the Seekers, right? You haven't had... There's not a lot of big hitting ults here in terms of retakeability, apart from mainly the Rolling Thunder and Cosmic Divide. So you're looking at those two, but if you don't have those online, you have to play inside of the sites. Mimi just gets absolutely destroyed. Freeze doubles up. Glance goes into the garage and, well, doesn't really stand there for long. Instantly taken out. So this puts all the pressure of the round on Petra's shoulders. Let's see if she can hold it. Swings out to the right side. A lovely first kill. And she has actually got away. She's got a double. And there's chances, still opportunities here for her to go ahead and get more. She sends the front line through. She on it. And Petra is just an absolute animal inside of the site. Freeze goes down as well to Mary. But my God, G2 should have lost that round, Jess. But Petra decides, no.
Petra put her dancing shoes on and she showed us a show that I've not seen before. I mean, from
just try and cool them down a little bit, cool the Jets a bit coming into this, and that 1 minute can maybe cool the nerves, get the blood pressure down a little bit, because they are finding their opportunities. You just, against a team like G2, you have to be perfect the whole way through the round, not just at the start phase. So they're getting this control. They've done well. They've won garage control again, and this is very early on the round.
Do spot yet again all of those red pings coming out across the map. It's an indication of where they might want to push, where they think the defenders might push up. They know that Mary likes to push up with a teammate over towards short. They'll dog it out to see if it's clear. It does confirm that end right there. That confirms at least 2 of the members, maybe even possibly 3. And Juliano doesn't care. The haunt's up, yeah, you've spotted me, but I'm the one with the op in the hand. I'm the one with the big, fierce powerfulness.
Yeah,
And I
someone's
don't-
inviting them.
I
to
know,
fight.
please peek me. I'm spotted, please peek, and one will.
Yeah, finally, they jump across. They don't want to take the straight fight against her, but that's a good way of dealing with it. You bait the shot out, but this is about to be a kill for Metzly. The lurks have just been perfect today for Metzly. Never really putting a foot wrong, and it looks like Jamimi ready for the information. Actually was able to rendezvous out of there. And 30 seconds left. Great info and a player advantage at the moment. This is about to be a pretty good round if Kasse can get this spike down on the A side.
Oh, God, freeze. She had ice in her veins previous rounds, but this one's a big old bait and switch. That's a love that. That is a big risk to be able to use the ultimate over towards A, just to bait out the fact that you're going to push C. And then with that astral divide as well, they've misread it completely.
Well, G2 are coming back. They still have the player advantage, and if they're quick to this, they will still have the time for the retake. But Metzly has not moved. Metzly's still outside of the garage, and it's a kill on Petra this time. Even numbers on the player count. G2 have still got Juliano up, but clearing these close angles with the operator is just too difficult. He'll not be walking in towards garage,
Juliano?
but the sound cue. Metzly making a lot of noise in the flank, and Juliano's going to turn and find that. Defuse has been tapped. Juliano pulling out the showstopper, and MissLaia gets caught by glance. It's all Poetite. Defuse coming in. She's trying to deny it, and she will be able to stop the defuse from happening and give Kasse their 4th round.
Things that are fundamentally make a team great on a map like Haven, where you have a plethora of sites to pick from, and this inferior weaponry now from the side of G2. And this is the kind of thing that we saw in the pistol round, hanging all the way back, expecting defensive aggression. And Petra, she's still on fire, but this is what they were expecting to come their way.
You want to be a bit more tentative in a round like this, because there is likely to be more aggressive maneuvers given the fact you've got weaker weapons. And so if you hold back, use that range, you should be able to beat out some of these pistols. But it gets a little more difficult when you've got the individual skill. G2 goes and have a lovely shot, but really shouldn't be getting out of hand now. It's just Petra left alone. The rest of her teammates have all gone down. So under a minute left, Petra might actually be able to get another pick here on freeze, but the timing has just eluded her. She wants to get a better weapon, but has been spotted by the trademark, and now they know exactly where she is. So go ahead and grab an upgraded weapon in the form of the Vandal. But can she get any damage here? There's a trifecta of death on the other side of that. No matter what, if you get one pick, the trade should have come in immediately. Well played from Kasse. And you can see, just after the timeout, Jess, you mentioned...
It's real that they can be able to go through. Right there. They themselves have already gone up against this team, so they know what to expect, and that's why they were hanging back. The defensive aggression was something they had already had alluded to them before. It hadn't come until just this point.
Piss off.
And, yeah, piss off. Love that. Good voice line, that one.
Well, I was so confused. I thought I was Sky. Damn.
My bad.
We got an opening already in for G2. Again, that's what they're capable of doing. You know, you shouldn't... That's not a play that you would say is the right thing to do a lot of the time.
Correct,
just dry fight at the A cross. But when you have so much skill, G2 get away with it. And you have a lot of tools in your arsenal, a lot of openers that a lot of other teams don't have. And that's very difficult to deal with. Because it's unpredictable when you can use those openers. G2 can now just poke and prod. They get that first kill, they drop back. And now Kasse have to try and work their way back into this round. Here comes the Nightfall straight away. Being used up, and they're committing it towards the A side.
No short control. This is so dangerous, Dingo. The fact that they're winning some of these fights is absolutely ridiculous to me. Petra up in heaven. We know what she's like when she has site control, but alas, she doesn't. And they've actually baited out the plant. They've decided to go for kills here. I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind this. I'm not sure if they're confused, if they think there's someone on site, if they've lost the smokes, they've lost the timing, they've lost everything, Dingo.
Yeah, that decision might just cost him this round. Oh no, they've denied the plant. That's it. That's job done. Oh, that's Kasse in the micro moment. Just the very end of the round. Decision making will elude them.
Last round. Championship for me. All I could do was slam my desk. There's no point telling the players, because the players know better than anyone they've made the mistake, and That's why you see Toki right now getting that A-long control really quickly off the back of that utility. The only way to make up for it is getting back on the horse, being confident, and making sure that you get those drills and fundamentals down pat. Short control finally taken. Mary there to receive, but that is something that they need to do that they haven't been doing. So they know their mistakes here. I can see them trying to plug it, but this kind of lurk from Metzly is really just confirming that they'll probably end up going for a B or C push.
No, Metzly... It comes down to whether or not she's more patient than Mary at this point. Mary has no reason to get aggressive, but she'll go ahead and do it anyway, and Metzly will win the fight. So, great work in that engagement. That's Kasse once again having an opening kill here. They've been really solid, actually. I think they've gone like 50-50, it feels like, on getting off some of these openings. Let's just converting them becomes a bit difficult. But if you can leave this half with equal numbers, you will be incredibly happy about it. They go for the A-side attack again. Rolling Thunder sent in. No one from G2 being caught just yet. But Juliano, often the difference maker. She looks to do it again. Spike if she can spot a player going down into his hell. G2, they've been good on retakes, but they don't really have a lot of ultimates. You have none, in fact, that are useful in this scenario. This is great for Kasse. This is a perfect chance, Jess.
I love this. You can see Petra setting up. There it is. There's the stun. Juliano, no smokes available to be able to smoke off Heaven. It means that everyone's in a very dire situation here. All of the defaults that we know Kasse like to sit in are being checked. They are being wiped and they are being obliterated. This is what I mean by having those default positions that you sit on site. You've already played on this map against G2. You've already set expectations. You've already had them know exactly how you default things. And if you...
that's when things start to get a little bit out of hand. There's no team plays, no proactiveness in that post plan. And that allows G2 to just simply go through that checklist and take your head off. So 7-5 at the half here for G2. They're switching to the attacking side. This is where things could get a little bit more comfortable for G2 as well.
Hold. Oh, I love this C's nade combo. Looks like a player got by as well. It's Toki, isn't it? Yeah, no Juliano. We're already on the second half here, mate. I'm having a coffee in my hoodie and I'm sweating it out after the gym, needing to get myself into the mode of being able to count above 5. So there we go.
It was quick to get here. It's been a pretty quick game so far. Very high octane.
Yep.
And we'll see if Juliano is able to use much of her aggressive position. And unfortunately, they are able to react in time. Juliano not cleaning up on the initial tap. And that's 2 players for G2 out of there already. Good kill from Glance, but a lot more needed. And look at Metzly. Oh, the wraparound. Glance comes around the back and Metzly gets caught. She was fixated upon the fact there's a player in Garage. And that's going to cost her life. And potentially the round here. G2 put the spike down. Kasse have to retake. Good kill from Freeze, and a second one. And she puts Glance in the ground. It's just Mary left, and she gets absolutely bombarded with utility and removed by Poetite. Good retake here for Kasse. Freeze gets 2 players walking in towards her crosshair.
Not your day, is it?
Oh, another high-octane pistol. That's what we like, Dinko. That's what she gives me very clear reminiscent vibes of how Petra does play Breach. And I think to Fracture as well. I think about, way back when that was first starting from Petra, and she's giving me those same kind of high-octane, high-hitting vibes. So I like that. Oh.
Well, speaking of high octane, here we are. Juliano straight into the battle. The paint shells have thrusted the life out of her opponent quite quickly, but Freeze once again being the difference maker, being the equalizer in these rounds. MissLaia following up. Mimi is the next victim, but the spike has gone down, and considering the weaker weapons here for G2 Gozen, they won't be too disappointed about getting themselves into this position. The difficult part of the round now becomes holding on to it. You're really relying on Glance getting a lot done on the flank. Mary holds long enough to get one pick. Poetite is doing her best, and here goes Petra with the classic. Rattles off her burst, but not enough damage output from that measly little pistol, and Poetite will turn to get the defuse and the tied up round of 7 apiece.
Easy.
This is the team to beat. This is the team everybody wants to take down. Also, Kasse, they were damn close to being able to win that best of 1. They want to come out here on Haven and try and fix some of those mistakes. They realize what they could have done better. Metzly gets aggressive down towards Long, comes away with a headhunter first pick and gets back to safety, but there's the double dunk. Juliano comes in with the paint shells, and it is heartbreaking for Kasse to have to stomach 2 losses that quickly.
Only one player can rendezvous out. The rest, they just have to tank it and tank it hard. They did. Eating those Fruit Loops for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I think. I like to think of the paint shells as a Fruit Loop launcher.
That's a good way of looking at it. You know, that's a breakfast cereal I've never had.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I can
Very
imagine.
sugary.
I can imagine. You know, I used to love sugary cereal, but then I got a little bit older, and it's just horrible, Jess. So definitely, I don't think it'll be on my list of trying that one. I think I'll leave that.
So, something to be careful of is those first kill, first death ratios that G2 did hold pretty firmly in their hands in that series, and something that Kase is going to have to rectify if they do want to win this map and therefore this series.
Well, some early orb control getting taken here for G2. Going out towards C long. Now they've congregated and are going to be stacking most of their forces out through middle. They might just go straight up in towards this middle bomb, middle site. They're going to attack him already straight away. And Mimi's just going to be lurking on the other side of things, holding off any flanks. But this is easy for the side of G2 at the moment.
They're funneling into Link. They have no idea. They want to be able to push off. The players are stuck on C over towards Garage. Comes in a retake ulti as well. I mean, I can't even work out where Mary wants to be right now. Put herself in a murder hole there, and she's the one that comes out the murderer.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really solid from G2 at the beginning of the round, but they just put themselves in a really tough spot. But luckily, Glance gets the spam down. It's due to Mimi to try and win this one out. And from the quietest performer to the biggest round, it is Mimi that pulls it off.
Biggest hitters from Kase before they could even get the retake undergone. This was a big round for me. I think that is one of the big tilting rounds if I've ever seen one. And Metzly, is that 1 HP? Where's she at? Yeah, that's a hairline of HP left in her.
Yeah, Metzly not having the best of starts here. Boomblock confirming her position. Here come the paint shells, and Juliano threw everything she could at getting Metzly out of the round there.
Oh, can't catch a break. Those paint shells, they hit hard. That sugar rush is a little bit too much for Kase to handle.
Yeah, sore teeth for days, I think, after that one.
Oof.
Minute left here on the clock.
They've
G2
stacked.
with their newfound advantage are going towards the empty site because, as you point out, Jess, the C site is completely stacked, but leaving a lot to be desired.
Mary thoroughly checking every corner. They're probably pretty surprised that there's nobody here to collect them. Not even a shoulder peek, a jump peek, nothing. Of course, that's the risk that you should take when you have that inferior weaponry, when you're down on the economic side. Stacking a site can be very helpful, especially if you can drop a weapon or two. So stacking the C side, it might look funny on the minimap. It might look like they've made the wrong decision. But when you think about the economic benefits of if they were right, they had that 1 in 3 chance, then of course that could have been really good for them.
A lot of fruit in this one. Juliano just farming at the moment.
Grenade!
Gonna send the paint shells towards Freeze, and we'll dodge them. Juliano wants more though. Juliano wants this pick, and not accurate on the first bullet, and quite often the Vandal can be very difficult to recover once that first bullet is inaccurate, but Juliano has one thing on her mind, and that's getting Freeze out of the round. I really don't understand how Freeze survived for so long. Toki's going to go down to the spike.
On their mistakes, but G2 alike was able to work on their mistakes on this map, and it's clear on their attacking side. They've worked out what the missing piece is, and it's a little bit of utility, a little bit of aggression, and a lot of confidence.
Lance with the burst kill. It's MissLaia. Fallen foul to it. Mary is ready for some garage aggression, and it does come through. And offering them up 2 picks for Kase, going against them already. Petra puts the spike down, and if you're Kase, you look at the situation here and you realize as tough of a pill as it is to swallow, you have to save call this. You can't go for the retake because you just don't have anything of value, and you don't have any economy left over. So there's no retake ability here in terms of ultimates online. You just have to say, well, this one's a done deal. If we want to compete, if we want to continue to compete here on Heaven, we have to have weapons in the next round, which means conceding the scoreline of 11-7.
Yeah, if you want that hashtag comeback Kase, then there's gonna need to be some weapons in hand, because the attacking side of G2 round after round, we speak about momentum being a real thing, especially inside attack FPS. Obviously, when you've got economy, you think about that That momentum looks very different in a numbers format as well, but when you just talk about the mentality of the team and what, I mean, Trapwire in place, A main control coming out, and Metzly, she's always pushing up with that defensive aggression, whether it's C long, whether it's A short, etc. And Juliano, she had no resistance. She's inside. Oh, they have no idea. They just think it's Mary over towards long. Metzly is going to eat a bullet if she's not careful.
Juliano starting to push forward. Looking to find the gap, find some timing here. But Metzly's watching for it for the time being. But Juliano is going to be a late game player because they're trying to fake it out. They're just letting Juliano hold that control, and Petra's trying to bait the fight. But they know if they commit to the plant right now and the defensive side were to converge on the site, they might have a bit of a tough time because G2 can work all together. But here's Juliano into the late round. They go by, they don't check her, and it's one for Juliano, a single kill, but the rest of her teammates at least stepping up with a couple, but it's a 2 versus 2. The spike has been planted in the midst of it all, so you're letting Mimi try and come in and get this kill on the flank. Luckily, MissLaia is down, and this does give an opportunity now to move forward and try and get that spike down, confirmed with a neural theft as well. Mary will feel much more confident putting a spike down, and it's just one player left. Poetite, such an important round. The ramifications of losing this one likely mean loss in the first map, and potentially would lead to the series, but Mimi getting caught looking the wrong way. Poetite catches the right timing, and now it's all about figuring out where Mary is playing this one. Nightmare comes through. Mary's gonna have to play on turret. Oh, the headshot. Mary picks it up for G2, and they will head to map point.
KD, I look at her ACS, I could look at her cast even if we wanted to really break it down that far, and she reigns supreme time and time again. So that is the last person I would have wanted to, and I don't blame Poetite for falling to that one. But what I will say now is that this round of this map is really going to set the tone, because I felt like this map was Kase's best chance of being able to take some kind of map off G2 here, so it's going to have to be special.
That's the thing. You know, you get so close to G2 before. Try and do it again, and turns out it's a little bit more one-sided in favor of G2 at the moment. Just shows you how difficult of a team to put away G2 is. They will improve from match to match, and you might improve too, but you better hope you're improving at the rate they are. Here comes the retake attempt, everything being thrown in on the other side of this cosmic divide. Guiding light going through for Mary, showstoppers through. Poetite's got the first, and Juliano's got the double. Toki and Poetite both go down, and Juliano gets traded out. Still a 3v3, and there's still a lot of ground to make up here for Kase. They get onto the defuse. Mimi with the first, but she's been stunned. She's got off it though. The defuse not coming through anymore, and all the picks for G2 are starting to come in. Glance will close it out, 13-7. What a showing from G2. A very convincing